This program is part of the Scene Project's podcast network. The Scene Project features interviews with independent musicians, comedians, and artists from across the Midwest. Become part of our community and support local art wherever you are. Welcome into another exciting episode of The Scene. I'm your host, Bubba Startz, and with me today is your girl, Michelle, from the Empowerment Divas Network. Welcome to the show, Michelle. I should say my girl, Michelle. That's my girl. That's my friend.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Oh, we are so good today. It's winter is definitely settling in. We got the freezing rain in eastern South Dakota today. I'm sure across the Midwest, it's much of the same lately as we head into the holiday season. But before we get too far into everything that we're both up to now and all the great things that we have to share, I want to give you an opportunity to just share with our listeners a little bit about your backstory, how you built the Empowerment Divas Network, and then we'll get into all the good stuff.
Okay, great. So we started Empowerment Divas Network in 2017, and the goal was to create a platform for women-owned businesses. We did a lot of research in Ohio and Michigan and realized there wasn't really a big platform for those local artists and businesses. So as we continued on, we realized that we couldn't leave out the guys. Okay, so 2019, we decided that, we'll focus on every business. The end of 2019, 2020, we started talking and we realized that a lot of local artists still needed a nice platform. So we started interviewing a lot of artists, a lot of authors and things like that to come on our show. And then at that time, we were partnered with a couple different radio stations globally. And in 23, we decided to open up our own Roku channel. So if you go to EDN on Roku, you definitely will find Empowerment Divas Network.
So cool. Yeah. And that's really where all of this is heading. I don't know if people really know as legacy media, as we call it, like the terrestrial radio and TV stations, because of their power suck on, just to have a station that's broadcasting to that, because of the extreme cost of that and the lack of revenue that they're turning over, they are slowly fading away. And it's why they're owned by a conglomerate, a Clear Channel or an iHeartRadio is buying up all the TV stations. But eventually they're just going to start, as these towers deteriorate or the satellites need to be replaced, that they just won't do it. And all the data will be available on these fast streaming networks. So you are really ahead of the curve on getting into there, occupying your space and building a platform in that arena. So kudos to you. You beat me to the punch by a couple of years.
Unfortunately, I beat myself to a couple things. But I think it's just because when I do research, I do it thoroughly. I might find, deals and specials and stuff. And so I try to be different from the average person, so that's where the competition, everybody's in competition. I'm not in competition with anyone because apparently I'm in competition with myself, trying to make sure that I continue on bettering the brand.
No, and you are different because not everyone has that servant's heart to serve their community, whether that community is, Black female business owners or just female business owners or just business owners, and then, expanding out. And it feels like, you started with a very niche idea and then realized that like everyone needs this. Artists, musicians, like everyone needs a platform to come and talk about their businesses and to be able to bring in new clients, to just share their story. And not a lot of people out there are willing to do that for someone else, right? And I think especially in the podcasting artist communities, that a lot of it is kind of a look at me industry. And there's very few people that are out there going, no, 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 look at you. Look at what you're doing. That's so impressive. So I absolutely adore that. I thank you for having me on EDN, even though we're going to have to redo our episode over again. I had such a great conversation with you, getting to know you and everything that you've been doing. I would be honored to come on again and again and again until we get it perfect to share with the world. So I couldn't let you go.
I'm definitely thankful, to have met you. And this is, I guess, I haven't, throughout the years, I haven't had a lot of time to fully network in person. A lot of times I missed a lot of events, but I've met so many people on, the internet and just kind of like advertising media and different things like that. So I am appreciative that I have not only found people in Ohio, but I found people globally. So this is truly amazing.
Yeah, I know the internet can be a total cesspool, but also there's a lot of really good people out there, and it takes a little bit more to find them. And most of us have rather small platforms, not a lot of people that are willing to shine a light on other small businesses and people with, small or no platform. We're not doing it for the fame. We're not doing it to be famous ourselves. We're doing it because every single person that watches and finds one of our friends or guests on the show is one person that they may not have met. And each person has the ability to change another's life. And I say it on my podcast all the time that if this conversation only changes one life and that life is mine, well, then it was successful regardless of how many views it gets.
Definitely. There's been times where, we would have events and I didn't get to that many people out, but the ones that came out were like, very happy and excited to learn more about what we're doing. And so I'm real excited because we got a new event coming up in March, the Midwest Talent Awards, and we got a couple new hosts. And so we're kind of trying to get them solid. And then after that, we're going to interview them and they can start telling people, hey, join us. We're going to do, I'm going to tell you just a little snippet, but we're going to host a telethon here in Toledo, and we're going to try to do one in Detroit. But the goal is that any event that you see, we always give a percentage back to the youth and the families. So it's not just about, okay, I'm going to get rich or paid off of this, but it's definitely helping to impact somebody else again. So
yes, and you said it. To me, it's not about numbers at all. I don't measure my success in any kind of numbers. Would I like this to be something that provides financial stability for my wife and family in the future? Sure, but I'm willing to put in a lot of work before that and to make a great impact before that as well. As you can see behind me, Operation Combating Veteran Suicide is a nonprofit that we work very closely with. And for that purpose, that we don't measure our impact in numbers, we measure it in lives changed. And that is why I was so grateful to you being on your show and to see just what you were doing, supporting artists, supporting businesses, supporting families. There's so much that you're doing, and your impact on your world is felt and will be felt for generations. And even if you don't live to see that, and even if they don't remember your name, that impact will remain the same. And I think that's way more important. That's a legacy. And I think that's what really motivates me to continue doing what I'm doing. And I'm sure it has to be a lot of the same for you as well.
Yes, generational wealth, they say that's big. But I definitely want, because I obviously I'm running 3 businesses at one time. And I put a business in my son's name. And the goal for that is agriculture. So agriculture, cutting grass, snow removal, things like that. So my thing is I want to prepare these children of mine to be set up but then offer programs for other children so they'll be set up and prepared and have goals lined up. These kids nowadays don't even know what they want to do. And so if they come this way, oh, by the time they leave, wow, well, we got a whole goal plan now. And I have some resources for you. So that's my impact. That is what I focus on. But you definitely got to keep going as far as the podcasting and things like that. Because when we first started, we were only getting, maybe a few hundred or less views. But then when I started reaching out to these different radio stations and partnering, the highest amount of listeners I've had throughout the years was 8 million listeners.
Incredible.
So you definitely got to keep going.
Yeah, and we're just we're planning a big national tour right now. I think it was after I got off the phone with you that I was like, yeah, maybe I do have to travel a little bit. And so we're going out and hitting some award shows and going down to Austin for South by Southwest, teaming up with a young lady named Ellie Arnold, who's just beginning her music career, and taking her out on the road. And the whole goal is she's beginning as the opening act, but by the end of this tour, she's going to be the headline, right? Like, wow. She is going to be the story, and to watch her grow and to elevate to that role. Cause it's not about me. It's not about what I can do. Like, I don't want to say that I don't care, because I care, but I don't have to be the star of the show to be impactful. And I have no problem being a sideshow, which I've probably been most of my life without knowing it. And to be one who facilitates these things behind the scenes, booking venues and making sure that sponsor support is there to do these projects and to make sure that the impact is felt. So maybe we'll be looking for some more radio stations to share our stuff with and get our message out there into the wider world. I got plenty of interviews they could go back and siphon through to go out. And, we have our own internet radio station as well. And it was kind of just like occupying all the space, right? Getting out there, occupying the space, and then we'll kind of figure it out later as we go along. So let's talk more about the award show. I know you're just kind of in the beginning phases of it right now, but why? Well, what was kind of your inspiration for starting an award show?
Well, last year, I'm gonna tell you this first. So normally every year we host a Save the Music event. And that event is locally, whether it's Toledo or Detroit. And the goal for that event was to get all the different local artists together for one night to support a cause. And so at the end of that event, a percentage of the proceeds goes to youth interested in arts, media, and things along that nature. And so we've done that, for years. And then 2020, we broadcast the Save the Music tour. Okay. I have 40 artists that signed up. We were going to 35 cities, but we all know what happened in 2020. So I had paid for all these different venues and artists paid me, and I had to, pay all these artists, get these artists a refund because it was COVID and nothing was really open. And I was like, no, we're not going out there. In 2020, it was barely mask available, So I'm like, no, we're not going out there. So the goal is for like 27, I'm going to say, that we're going to propose to do a tour. But the Midwest Talent Awards was something where, okay, not only are we focusing on Ohio, but we're focusing on the whole entire Midwest, getting the whole entire Midwest together. Different artists, nonprofits. So right now on my roster, because we're preparing to do I have my staff working, and I had did the research on like all these different nonprofits, right? And so we were talking about it, and they were like, well, how many did you find in the Midwest? I said, well, aligned with what we're doing, arts and music and things like that, it's about 2,000. And they were like, 2,000? Are you going to reach out to 2,000 by Monday? I'm like, yes, we're going to reach out to them by Monday. So that's our goal. So by Monday, I'll be, kind of invited them to our event, asking them to be a vendor or a sponsor and things like that. But we also have a lot of different artists that we've already worked with and that we've been looking at. And so these artists know about what we're doing. And it's just real, and it's like real empowering to bring the entire Midwest together. When I Googled Midwest Talent Awards, it didn't even pop up. Matter of fact, the only thing that popped up was like country. And I was like, well, okay, so let's include Midwest Talent Awards because it's for the artists. We're going to reach out to some dance teams, the coaches, things like that. And then also you have those poets, you have those nonprofits who deserve, some type of award for being the best in their area. So that's what we're aiming towards. I'm really excited. And, I was talking to my partner. She's like, hey, it's almost March. I'm like, I know, let's get going. So we went down to see, we chose a hotel and, we went down to see it, the Westin in Southfield. And we were so amazed, and it's so beautiful and nice. It didn't even look like we were in Michigan. It looked like we were somewhere else. And so I was like, yes, this is it. I'm looking at the price. Okay, well, that's fine. But it really inspires me to, be able to offer something this big and have a lot of backups, people helping me along the way, because I definitely couldn't do it by myself. So.
No, it takes a team, especially to achieve something that large. Now, for me, I kind of run the podcast by myself, and I'm able to travel and do a lot of things solo. But there's other pieces behind the scene that make this network. And when I wanted to expand into more shows and just more content, there's only so many hours in the day, and you can use all the AI that you want to and be as efficient as possible, and you're still going to run out of time. So I know the importance of a great team. We've got a good one here. You have an amazing one there, obviously. Do you have a date picked out? I know you've said March a couple of times, but is there a solid date for the award show right now?
March 6th through the 8th, that whole entire weekend. We're going to have different workshops. We're going to have the award ceremony that Saturday. We're going to have a brunch. So we got it all mapped out. And like I said, we're preparing. The website is actually live, www.midwesttaleentawards.com, where people can go and they can cast their votes on who they feel is the top artists. They have a different categories listed. And then, towards, I'm going to say February, probably the early week of February, we're going to review everything that was casted in. And then we're going to reach out to the ones that, we feel deserve it, because obviously it's not about popularity or things like that. It's more about who's consistent. Who is doing stuff in the community, who has been, out there with a music video and is, attracting a lot of people. But the goal is, it's not just popularity. It's a whole outline of aspects that we're looking at to make sure that we choose the best people.
Just awesome. So you have 3 days. So there's a lot going on here. Let's kind of dig in a little bit to the awards. And it's more than just an award show, obviously. You're educating, you're kind of, I'm envisioning some conferencing here where people can learn. Are you doing kind of panels where people are speaking and artists are able to kind of learn from some experts out there?
Yes, BMI, ASCAP will be there. We have a few different people in those different nonprofits that the research I've done, there's a lot of nonprofits who offer music classes and different things like that for artists. And I don't think they know is available. But the point is that we're going to definitely have it to where you're going to see a lot of different vendors and people you wouldn't normally see all together that night. So you got the workshops, you got the panels. Like I said, you got the networking event. We wanted to include a fashion show. Oh boy, that's a lot. But you definitely get a lot for that weekend. And like I said, I'm preparing to give you that final outlook and let you know what in detail what's going to happen that weekend. So
Awesome. And what day will the award show? Will it be on the Saturday or on Sunday?
It's going to be on Saturday.
Fantastic. Well, you know what? I have some loose plans right now, but I may be changing my plans. I think coming up there and seeing you sounds like a better use of my time. I can always get to Texas in a couple of days, no matter where I'm traveling from. So I'm going to look at my schedule when I get done here. If you'd make some space for me, let me hang out. You doing a red carpet at all?
Yes.
I would love to come and do some
Saturday,
interviews on the red carpet. Yeah.
We're definitely going to have it. Well, I was going to invite you anyway. I don't know why you think I wouldn't. But yeah, definitely. Like I said, we're going to be making sure that by Monday, majority of the organizations and different people that, we have already, they're going to have that information and they can choose and decide on what they want to do, because we're also going to be at the South by Southwest event.
Yeah.
We're going to be there as well, because we realized we had time to do our event and still go there. So I'm really excited. And
well, you know what? I'm going to bring our tour vehicle up there. We're going to pick you up. Everybody's going to get on the bus and we're going to all go down to South by Southwest together, because that's where I'm headed. So I think this was just meant to be, Michelle. I'm so thrilled to hear about everything that you got going on. Go ahead, shout out the website for the awards again. Shout out some of your other businesses and everything you got going on. We may be doing a few more podcasts talking about the awards show for sure before March as well. So go ahead and plug away. I'll let you go for now, and we'll reconvene here off the air.
Okay, definitely. So to cast your vote, you can go to www.midwesttalentawards.com. You can also go to empowermentdivasnetwork.com. But we are on all social media platforms. And, just shout out Hustle Man Live. He's one of our DJs, DJ Cookie. And just so you know, that they have 17 radio stations. So if you want to add, your podcast and your songs, be sure to, send that information to me and I can give it to them.
Awesome. Well, Michelle, I just so appreciate everything that you're doing for your community and this community of artists at large. This award show is going to be absolutely incredible. I am looking forward to making some plans to come out and to see you and to take part in a lot of this stuff. I may have some tour rerouting that I need to do now, but that's okay. We're in the early stages anyway. Michelle, thank you so much for being part of the scene.
Well, thank you for having me. And every day, every time, it's a great opportunity. And I appreciate what you do as well.